Hello, awesome people today.
Hello.
So, who here wants to bring value to people? Raise your hand and say yes.
Yes.
Who here has dreamt about changing the world before? Raise your hand and say yes.
Yes.
So, we have something for you, and by the end of this, you will know how to change the world. So, let me tell you a bit about my personal story before we get there. So, I am the creator of the money multiplier formula. And how I got to there is because I was a firefighter. I started in 2009, and from then I decided that I would invest my money so that I could produce more and use this goal to make a change. What I did was research a little bit, and I wanted to invest in renewable energies because the environment has always been my focus number one. So I went to the bank and said, Mr. Banker, do you have a suggestion for me because I would like to invest in renewable energies? He said, that's a very dumb idea. You will lose all your money. We don't have a fund for that. We tried before, the returns were not good, and people have lost their money. But we do have a very good portfolio account where there is energies in it. There is 60% stocks and 40% more secured money. Look at this graphic. It's been good for the past few years, and that's where you should put your money. And unfortunately, I followed this advice. Now, this banker could have been the greatest man in the world, but unfortunately, he's working for a bank, and the bank teaches him that that's the way to make money. So I did follow his advice. I started investing in 2009 after the crisis, and the economy was getting back on. Over 6 years, I did 4.6% net return. That's lower than the inflation. I was taking risk because I was investing in stocks. Those energy stocks were actually oil companies, so kind of against what I wanted to do. And anyways, but I learned about investing like this. Now, don't get me wrong. A bank is a very good business when you own it. And some of you might have a piece of the action here or have lent money before, but it's not good for normal people. So as a firefighter, I had an accident. I came back from a call. We just saved someone's life from a medical call, and jumped down the truck, getting in the garage. My knee bent on that way, which is not supposed to. Tore my ACL. Took 3 months to get surgery because I was calling the hospital nonstop, and they finally give me an appointment. 8 months of recovery, and I was really depressed during those 8 months because I used to train every day, and now I could not. But what is good is I learned swimming because that's the only thing I could do, and I started doing triathlon after that and loved it. But during those 8 months, I decided to learn a new skill because in case I could not do firefighting anymore. And because the firefighting business is about managing risk. So if you learn to control that risk, because you train and you understand the chemistry of the fire, we can get in a building while everybody is running out. We can go save people and help people and extinguish the fire because we understand the risk. We understand that there's the triangle of fire, and you need three parts to have the fire going. You need the combustible or the wood, you need the carburant or the oxygen, and the heat. Now, if you remove one of those three, you get no more fire. And that's how we can get in and manage risk. Same applies for investing. And I did read a lot. I'm pretty much self-taught, but also further down the line, decided to invest heavily in coaches and mentors, and learned a lot from there. But also I wanted to practice myself. So I was reading Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett's book, where they invest only in stuff that they understand. So I did a lot of research, called my bank. I remember that day. It was the day after the election of Trump. I was at the law school at U Ottawa, ready to get into an exam. And what I did like 2 weeks after is quit law school because that was very boring to me. So I say I want to invest my whole portfolio into Tesla, that I wish, like I had read a bit about that guy called Elon Musk a few years earlier when I wanted to invest in renewable energies, and I would be very rich today. But listen to my banker. So I say I want to put half the portfolio in Tesla and the other half in Shopify because I was just doing an e-commerce and believed that this is the future. Banker says, well, you have to sell your portfolio first. It will take time. Then you transfer it to the stock options, and then you can buy whatever you want. And I was a little bit displeased by the length of moving my money around. And I was approached by another bank who said, oh, we have a much better way to do this. Trust us, we'll do it. If you want to save fees, like don't buy the stocks right away, transfer it. It will take 2 weeks. And we will invest it, and you will save like we were talking about peanuts. But I decided to listen to them, to trust another bank. Money was frozen for 2.5 months. I was calling 2 banks and like they didn't know where their money was. During those 2.5 months, Tesla and Shopify went up by 60 and 80%, which is good return when you invest in the stock market. So I said, well, anyway, so I don't want to trust my money with banks anymore. So what I did is I invested in medical marijuana instead. I believe like that was coming. And at the same time, I was invited by consultants to work with First Nations in Manitoba and center of Canada, where I did a huge mistake, is take everything on my shoulder and try to finance the whole thing myself. We're working on like 6 businesses that were pretty much going to change the face of the province. Not a good idea when you have limited capital. So I had to let go of 5 and focus on 1, which was the medical marijuana business. But now money was draining. I was paying my consultants. They were kind of surfing on the wave because I was the mastermind behind the project. Was paying them to just get me meetings, and they were partying a little too much. But I learned that I'm a very bad people's manager, so I'm really bad at managing a team. So that's a good thing to know. But the other guy that was working for me was awesome, MBA, and he was working on the business plans, and eventually the deal went through, but I was like really low on money. And then consultants kind of signed the deal for them, and I made people very rich, but not myself in the process. So I learned from that. I met worked with other First Nations from BC. We had such a great team, and same thing happened. I was running low on money, I had to come back. They said, Guillaume, we love working with you so much. Like we want to have you involved still in the process. Whatever you can do, if you can raise capital. So I went to a friend of mine who said before he wanted to invest in medical marijuana business. He's a real estate investor and has an online business as well. And I told them, okay, now they want to give 20% of the company for $400,000, because I know how it is to run a company and a startup. You're always looking for money, and like that's really stressful, and you're always scratching everywhere to get the money. And so I tell him, like, that's your chance. And he decided to hold and do nothing over the next 2.5 months. So within 6 months from day one, 6 months after, an offer for $60 million for the project. And in 2.5 months, he would have converted his $400,000 into $12 million. But decided to do nothing. That's his choice. He might be a little mad today, but I told him, like, it's just money. Like, money is easy. We'll make it again. And funny thing is, Kyle, one of the First Nations there, so we turned his land, like the land of his dad, 20 acres of land, a mobile home on it. Poor family. They live on government grants. Like it's not some First Nations live like third world countries. They have the chance that they really live in a nice place in the Okanagan Valley, but they don't have much money. And now that deal created wealth for generations to come, and the whole the whole band will succeed from that. Now Kyle calls me last week because like the universe. Okay, so 1 month ago, I tell the universe openly that I want to raise $100 billion to change the world. Actually, 1 month ago, I said $100 million, and things accelerated so fast. Once you say it out loud and you say it with certainty, things start coming to you, and everybody wants to get involved. The masterminds want to help you, and like Ted is freaking genius, and everybody wants to help. And within like one morning, I had two offers, and it's like, oh, funny thing, you want $100 million because my friend just sold her business for $100 million, and she's looking for exactly what you're proposing. So, okay. And then I have a phone call, a guy who's like, that I met in a seminar the week before. I want to own 5,000 doors in real estate, and I want 1 million square foot in commercial, and I want you to be my partner. Okay. So the universe keeps on giving, and that makes your dreams come true. Now, same thing as a business. What I understood is you need a great project that brings so much value to people in the environment. It's like the universe or God or fate, whatever you call it, is behind that project to make it happen. You have a great team of people. People that can manage other people, unlike me, that are behind the project, and they have all the setups required to make it happen. And then you need the money on the right time. When I ran out of money, lost the project. But if you bring it at the right time, and people like you can be part of this, it's amazing what we can do. We can add so much value because we make money flow. And let me see in my pockets. So story, a mentor of mine was saying, and that's a $20 bill, but $100 story. So he goes to a small city in center of the US, and the economy is not doing too well. Goes to the hotel or motel, says to the man at the desk, I am going to leave this here on the counter, and I'm going to visit the rooms. I want to see how it looks, and that's my deposit. I know there's only one left. I'd like to go see it. So man says okay. So when he goes visit the room, leaves the money there, the man takes the $100 bill, goes to the bar, tells the barman, hey, Mr. Barman, here's the $100 I owed you for the booze I got last month. And the barman says, oh, thank you. Goes to the server and says, here's your salary that I could not pay you last month. Here's the $100. And she goes to the man at the bar and says, Mr. Butcher, here's the money I owed you for the meat I bought last week. Butcher goes to the lady playing pool, and he says, here, Mrs. Hairdresser, like that's the money I owed you for cutting the hair of my family. And she takes the money, walks across the street, goes to the hotel, puts it on the counter. Here, honey, that's the money I owed you for the dress you bought for me. So that's how you multiply money. You have it moving around. If I keep it in my pocket, it's worth $100 and it's sleeping. Now, if you move it around, you get the economy rolling. And that's what we're doing with the startups we're investing in. They create so much value, so much jobs, they get the economy rolling in places that are slow or are not, there's nothing happening. And we create value from that. Same thing with real estate. We can build a building when there's nothing there, and we can create so much value. And maybe your thing is buying a Lamborghini, but remember, it's okay to buy a Lamborghini because like when you're buying it, there's a salesman behind it, and he's going to give food to his family, and it gets the economy rolling. So the important thing is to make money rolling. So I will give that today to buy a CD, and so there we go. Let's get it rolling. Thank you, Megan. And so that's how you create value, and you create value by giving it to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. They see a problem, and instead of thinking like normal people, they act on finding a solution for that problem, and that's how you build a business behind it. So that's where we want to move money, to entrepreneurs, and we want to make it easy for them, because getting money is easy. All of you are extremely rich and you know how easy it is to make money, but let's put it to good use and let's have the economy rolling. You'll get a huge return on your investment. The universe is behind you, so it's going to succeed. The risk is minimal, and you will know that you will be part of this mastermind of people that changes the world. So you're all awesome. Don't decide to do nothing. You can, if you want, go buy that next Lamborghini and that Ford private jet, but maybe you want something more. Maybe you want to be a part of this. Maybe you want to be a part of this group and know that your life has been useful and you've been part of this changing the world. So we bring so much value to people and the environment, and I want you all to be part of this. Thank you.